We just dove right in. I ain't even get to get my notes
Bro,
or anything.
you said take it over the world. I'm going.
Look, yo, first of all, welcome to the Taking Over the World podcast. I'm here with the light-skinned bandit. Look,
I'm here with the black Superman.
he got his elements on his shirt.
You already see it.
Look, primate
Sarcasm.
elements of a light-skinned man.
Sarcasm. Look, so
that's actually kind of
how
dope.
do you get up out of that? I mean, I see him when the chicks be getting the skinny jeans and they underground, they peel it off. Is that how you get up out your shirts? Exactly. Don't cough too hard and rip nothing. Your sleeves pop out. You look like Bruce Banner right before you get mad.
You talking stuff right now. But you losing weight too. You can't start putting on them small shirts. Don't worry about it. You can't start putting on. One time, listen, I know we didn't even get into the podcast, but one time Meeshach killed me. First of all, tell the people who you are. I'm here with Meeshach, Radio Shack.
Whatever you want to call it, Shach.
Shach
to the streets, to the world, but just played on Meeshach Stennett. What up?
Meeshach Stennett. Meeshach, you know, what is your real name?
Meeshach Stennett, bro.
It is Meeshach for real?
Like the Bible.
Nah, man, some people didn't know. They was like, yo, what's Meeshach's real name? Like, some young. I was like, Meeshach?
Yeah, for real. The funny thing is, that's why I don't even have a personal Facebook page. Because when I first was like, oh, let me get hip to Facebook, and I put just Meeshach Stennett, there's only one in the world. Well, now two, because I got my son.
Right.
But there was no others. And I just had to take it off because I started getting hit up from kindergarten on up. I was like, nah, I'm good.
Come on now. MSJ? You call him MSJ, your son?
Nah, I don't, just call him Izzy. It's funny.
Izzy. Look, we're going to get into the family talk. We're going to get into a lot of talk. But first of all, man, thank you for coming through the podcast, man.
Anytime.
Great.
I appreciate you having me, man.
Great. No, I definitely had to get you on the show.
It's snowing outside, too. It was snowing today. I knew it. I said he got me up here. It got to be something.
No, listen. I've been and we talked, man. Meeshach, man. First of all, for folks who don't know, DSU alumni for life, for heart. We're going to get into that in the DSU Circle. We're going to get into a lot of that stuff. But first and foremost, man, right now, when I look at you, I see a father, entrepreneur, businessman. And that's the first thing I see because we just did a photo shoot with you and your family. Well, quick one. It was a quick one.
With the girls.
With the girls.
Which we're going to do more because my son definitely was like, oh, I wasn't there. You too cool.
You too cool.
Yeah.
Nah. And then we talked about it. He was like, nah, Dad, I'm cool.
Good.
I'm cool.
His voice getting all deep now. I'm good. I'm going to chill.
He got light skin and curly hair.
Exactly.
I'll be short hair all wavy.
You can't tell that dude nothing, man.
Can tell him nothing. Now, first of all, I mean, tell how the people it is, you know, being a father figure right now. Like you said, I mean, before we even, you know, got into anything, you're from New York City.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You was born right there in the Bronx. You come from that. You come from hip-hop. You come from the hood. To go from that to the Bronx and, of course, going to Delaware State University, getting your degree. And now you're a family man. You're a father of 3. How did that transition? How are you transitioning? Like now, like.
Yeah, so first off, it's funny. No, not funny, but it coincides the fact you even say about, you know, coming up in the Bronx, hip hop, everything. Because in my generation, we was a fatherless generation. You know what I'm saying? So just a little history. Both of my parents are from Jamaica.
Jamaica!
You know what I'm saying? And,
hold on. Who light skinned this?
I don't know.
What?
I've been looking all over my block. Like, yo, the funny thing is coming up as a kid, like light skinned with freckles, like all my other cousins look different. That's why I call us the United Cousins of Benetton, because we got all these different flavors. Right. But I was the only one that was super light skinned. You know what I'm saying? So I had to ask my mom, it's like, yo, we got to talk. Like, I know my pops ain't around. You keep telling me I'm black and I got my pops is Jamaican. Like, I need to go meet him. Nah, but seriously, though, you know, we was the fatherless generation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to my moms. She raised me on her own, and she was just real strong-minded in terms of, I'm not going to allow you to fall into the traps that I see happening in the city. Yeah. Because we was in the, you know, people might say the Bronx in the 80s, right, when I was on those streets, it was real. That was a crack era. You know what I'm saying? You could be in a train, and 3 dudes come in a train, one at that door, somebody come in the middle, and they come in with a big bag, and they hammers out. Everybody put everything in these bags. You would be from one stop to the next, and they robbed the whole car.
Wow.
And then get off. So that was the mentality. And like I said, it was a lot of fatherless dudes. Fast forward, came down to Del State, you know what I'm saying? R.I.P. to my man Delano Francis. We came out here together, and I feel like, you know, everything happens for a reason. But when I first came to Del State, it was like one of those crazy, it was cold at home. We went sweaters and all that. We got down here, it was like March, April, but it was like almost 70 degrees outside.
Right.
It looked like a different world. Like, and when I say a different world, I mean the show a different world.
Right.
Out here, like everybody was outside. The music was blasting, pretty girls, just the whole vibe and element. And I was like, you might as well leave me here now, mommy.
Right.
Because I'm good.
I'm good.
You know what I'm saying? And then went through Del State, learned everything I learned. And the year after I graduated Del State, I came back to school. Because, you know, when you graduate, you be like, I'm never coming back, except for you.
He thought it's Shade 45, right?
Not Shade 45, no, because you already know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And the way you plugged in, it's only right that you maintain that. But the average cat be like, yo, once I graduate, it's over. I ain't never coming back. And my men's had me come back one night for a party. I'm leaving. My man gets lost. I go to find him, and I just bump into my wife. Because I was leaving. I was like, after graduation, I'm out of here.
Right.
Got a little job, whatever. I bump into my wife. And then fast forward to this kid situation. Had our first son. He's 17, senior in high school now, about to go to college next year.
And you'll be married for how many years?
17 years.
17 years.
You do the math. Don't matter. We still here.
Right.
Right? And had 2 more daughters after him. But the first thing that you introduced me is as a father. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that's an honor to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So to be a good father, a good husband, and more importantly, a good person is the number one things that I'm striving to be. Like, none of us are going to be perfect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not out here trying to even pretend to be. But I know that what I've learned. So it's funny because somebody put on a gram the other day that Will Smith, the Will Smith Fresh Prince joint where he was like, why don't he want me? His Uncle Phil moment. Yeah. And for a lot of us dudes in that era, that moment was big. Huge. Like, it's one thing to go back and look at it now, but I'm talking about sitting there when it actually happened. Because, you know, we was watching Fresh Prince, and I was around a bunch of dudes, and I wanted to cry.
Right.
That was the first time, and I was like, damn, why my pops ain't want
me?
You understand what I'm saying? Right. So that made me strive to be the best father I possibly could be when it was my turn around.
That's what's up, man. That's it's so funny, and we definitely gonna talk about hip hop, but one of my favorite hip hop artists, matter of fact, he's my favorite. It's J. Cole, and he has this song on No Role Models. And I don't think people catch that double on times that he put in the beginning. He said, first lyrics, first things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. For real. You the only father that I ever knew. When I'm going to be a better you.
Now think about that.
Right.
You got to remember that, like I said, our generation was fatherless. So the few male positive role models we saw on TV, like, we looked up to them, like Pops and all that. Like, I hate to say it, but unfortunately, you know, I grew up in a house where, you know, my grandfather was there. He was an older dude, older Jamaican cat. He didn't have time to be like, yo, this is what's going on in the streets and do this and the third. So we was watching Cosby, and we was watching Uncle Phil, and we was and taking lessons from these men that we never met before. These characters that they was putting out there. Now, thank God at that time, they was actually putting out a handful of male role models that people could look up to and strive to be. Now, you see now, they tearing us, I don't know what's going to happen to Cosby, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be. But at the time, yeah, J. Cole said it, rest in peace to Uncle Phil. And once I saw that moment, like, I wanted to cry then. You know what I'm saying? I didn't because there's a bunch of dudes. I'm like, oh, snap. You know what I mean? Like, it's dusty in here. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be back.
We got it made. It's dusty in here.
Hey, dusty in that blah. I just gotta go to the bathroom. Cause like, what was that noise in the bathroom? What noise? It sounded like somebody was whimpering.
Yo, Meeshach, you right?
You right?
I'm good. I'm good.
Nah, but seriously though, like, but that made me strive to be like, yo, my son isn't going to have that feeling ever. God willing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I had this conversation with you know, I have a lot of female friends, right? And I tell them some things as, you know, when they have conversations about like dudes that they've been dealing with, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I said, first thing you got to ask yourself the question, how was his father? Was his father in his life, or what type of father was he to him, right? And if he wasn't, I mean, granted, you know, I know everybody go through certain situations. If a man, or if you want to call him a man, depending on the situation, either they say, I want to be a better father than my father, because he taught me how to be a better father. Or if father wasn't there, like, I need to change the history.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said with your son, I don't want my son to have to feel that. So you're changing the history. Even though your son might not know how that feels, he's like, okay, cool. My dad taught me how to be a father, so I looked up to him, and I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm not, I don't have no kids. We talked about this before, but I want my child to be better than me because I taught him how to be better than me. I wanted him to be better than me, so when he has a kid, if he has a son, to teach him to be better than him. You know what I mean? Because what was it? Fabulous. I mean, I listened to Fabulous one time. He said, look, long story short, is like when that boy becomes a man, one or two things going to happen. Either he's going to resent his father for not being there because he became a better man than him on his own, or he's going to thank his father for teaching him how to become a better man. So one or two things going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And in me personally, and it's funny, this ain't stuff that I probably has ever spoke publicly about, but with me, it was like, I didn't even realize what I missed until I had a child, right? And because my mother was such a strong woman, you know what I'm saying? My mom's is different. Like, she's on some real Jamaican, running the street barefoot, fight if she need to, whatever the case may be. So she did everything necessary. Shout out to my mom's, Beverly Dice, you know what I'm saying? She just we had a retirement party up in the Bronx for her.
I never met your mom before.
2 weeks, yeah. Nah, because she don't be down there a lot, but you need to. She would love your energy and your spirit. My mom's got a young spirit, too.
Shout out to moms up there, hold it down.
So she just retired. I can't wait for her to move to Florida. But she was so instrumental and so strong that I didn't realize I was missing anything. Because she was the one, she would get up and take me to my football games. You know what I'm saying? And be like, no, you ain't quitting. Right. And get back up and, be the one at my basketball games, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? She was that. So I didn't realize it until I had my first son and started doing things with him and experiencing things. And I was like, I'm learning from him at that age. And I was like, damn, that's when it hit me like, damn, there was a man out there that didn't want to do this with me.
Right.
You understand? Right. So we had to address it. Shout out to my pops. I actually just was in Jamaica 3 weeks ago. And I went and, checked him. So I stay in touch with my pops and all. There ain't no love lost. Even when I was young, I used to always go to Jamaica summertimes. And my moms would take me there, and we would stay with him sometimes. And she never badmouthed him once, no matter what. So that helped me, too. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? And not have that resentment. And when I was old enough to realize what was taking place, I told him, like, yo, like, you missed out.
Right.
Not me.
So is that when y'all, I would say, like, father, son, they got to have, like, that one real conversation, like, at least. Did y'all have that?
Yeah, we had that.
One-on-one?
We had that one-on-one, you know what I'm saying, maybe 7 years ago, maybe something like that. The whole family went to JA, brought him to the resort, you know what I'm saying, and we was there, whatever, and he brought it up, like, yo, I hear so much about what you do with your kids, and I see the way you are and all that. He's like, I would like to think, that I played a big part of that by not being in your life. And I was like, you played a part of it for sure. Right. You brought me in this world for sure. And you not being here made me strong in certain ways. I was like, but to be honest, it don't matter. My mom's is the one that really, really got me to be who I am. And it goes back to what you were saying earlier. Like, you could do all the right things for people. There's some people that never grew up with a father that is just about a married life. And there's some people that have lived in a two-parent household who don't do it. It all depends on that person. Right. Like, experiences do play a major role, but at the end of the day, you are who you are. You could be raised a certain way and still turn out to be a serial killer. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So this was just something that was in me, man. Like, once it happened, like, I just jumped into it. Like, I love it. Like, that will be my number one accomplishment in life, no matter what I do, unless I save the planet or something crazy. But besides that, having them 3 babies, that's it. And I got 2 in high school right now. They are trouble. I didn't want to tell you what happened today, man. You got to get smarter, son.
Hold on. We can't dive into it. He got caught in the bathroom with some chick.
Dumb, man. He got caught. But he got caught. And I tell my son all the time, just be honest with me. Right. You know what I'm saying? He got caught doing some dumb stuff, but he got caught by us. Right. Just because we know our son. It's like he got caught. He was in trouble, whatever. But, my wife I'm like, yo, he ain't doing half the stuff. By the time I was 15 years old, I got shot when I was 15.
Got shot?
Shot in my stomach.
Yo, this is something new. I didn't know this.
But 15 years old. And it wasn't because I was no bad kid. I went to I was a Catholic school dude my whole life before Del State, whatever, just being in the wrong place, wrong time, not listening to stuff my mom was just telling me. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you this story. So my mom's is a nurse. So when the situation happened, I was so scared because my mom's already told me, like, yo, go straight home, da-da-da, whatever. I was so scared that it happened that me and my man was like, well, you know what? Because I didn't realize I was shot. It was so close, and my man was like, oh, he started tripping, like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I got hit. I'm like, nah, you good, bro. He was like, yo, you bleeding. I'm like, what?
Right.
So the adrenaline, you don't feel nothing, none of that. Yeah. Until I saw that blood, I was like, oh, my God.
You got weak that face.
I'm not going to make it.
Tell my mom's a lover.
Yeah, but don't tell my moms. So we actually, at the time, I played, the basketball team that we played for was with a hospital.
Yo, something hit. Don't tell my moms, though.
Don't tell my moms, though.
Like you ain't got to go to the hospital.
So I played, the team we played for was for the hospital. So the gym was connected to it. So my thought was, yo, you know, I looked, I'm a fat dude, it was always been this, whatever. So I looked, and all I just saw was the blood, whatever. I'm like, yo, let's go in the bathroom. Let's go to the bathroom. We got all the stuff here. My Jamaican nurses take everything home.
Everything home.
So I had everything. Right. I could have sold myself up if I needed to. Cleaned it up like, yo, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. Let's go to basketball practice.
Was it a graze? Did it go in?
That's what I thought. Cleaned it up, bandaged it up. You'd have thought I was Doogie Howser, one of these dudes. Bandaged it up.
How big was you?
Me? I was 15. I mean, nah, I wasn't that big because I was playing ball. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I always been chubby and all that. So throw the jacket on, go. We on the bus, ride into the joint. My man like, yo, let me see. Open your jacket. I open my jacket. Yo, I swear to everything I love. I don't like this not pink, but salmon with color t-shirt, whatever. Yo, it was a big red circle. I said, I'm going to die.
Ain't funny, but it's funny.
I'm here to tell the story, so it's hilarious. I'm like, I'm gonna die.
Right. Oh my God.
Get there, I told my coach, like, yo, coach, something happened. I was running, I tripped, da-da-da. He was like, let me see. I showed him, he spazzed. Oh my God. So, and this story, I wasn't grazed. The bullet went through my stomach. Right? So my mother's there like, oh, this is the worst day of my life, whatever. The doctor says this is actually the luckiest day of life. Because if it was 2 inches lower, it would have hit his belly button. That's his lifeline. It's a wrap. He took this long, like Q-tip gauze joint and stuck it through the hole in my stomach and lifted the meat up so she could see it actually went through her. Almost passed out. But yeah, but that was at 15. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be telling my wife, like, yo, listen, man. And that wasn't me being bad, but kids have to go through things. So even my son in a little foolishness today, like, I'm like, the good thing is everything is a learning lesson. We teach them, you know what I'm saying? Now, there's some situations that take place that it ain't as easily fixable. Right. You know what I'm saying? But this was nothing. But, yeah, man, and all those, that's what makes you who you are.
Absolutely. You
know what I'm saying? Absolutely. So, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, it's our environments and the things that we've seen. Once again, grow up in the Bronx in the crack era, I started seeing that 11 years old. Yeah. Like cats getting laid out in the street.
I know, it was crazy.
It was bad out there. You know what I'm saying? But it made us stronger, and we take those situations and we pass it on. So my kids love going to New York, and I tell them all the stories and everything. I don't sugarcoat it because I'm like, this is what made me, and I need you to understand these things because I don't want you to have to make the same mistakes or even have to go through it to understand it. Let me just give you my story, and then hopefully, you know what I mean?
Look, this not my bad. We're going to have to go to commercial break anyway, but why Clint calling me?
Yeah, he like, yo, you got Shach up there?
I'm going to put him on speaker. Yo.
Yeah, what up?
Yo, what up? I'm right here with Meeshach.
What up, Clint?
Yeah, what up, Meeshack?
He got quiet there.
Salem Christmas joint. What's up?
I called you back? Oh, my fault. Yeah. My bad. I hit you back later.
Well, I was telling you, I was giving Mimi hit me later. Well, I'll call you. I'm doing talk to Mike Dick.
All right.
Get the information.
All right, you on the podcast right now, too.
That's what up.
I'm on the podcast. Yo,
Clint.
You can't put me on the air. You're crazy.
Yo, whatever, man. Go ahead, Ghost.
No paperwork.
This dude, Clint St. Patrick. Go ahead, Ghost.
Look,
take care of the kids. Look, family man, too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I'm at the Christmas party. The Christmas program. It's going like 2 songs before Jaglani starts singing.
I went to my kids one last night. It was dumb long.
Dumb long. Listen, we ain't doing it.
I was tight, yo. I said, when do you perform, man? I started texting her. Are you next?
Are you next? All right, Clip Balls, and holler at you.
Be easy. With a gram. Like, Cash trying to get something going.
Yeah, we back from commercial break. By now, hopefully, the podcast is sponsored by somebody.
Yeah, no doubt.
If it ain't sponsored by nobody, listen. It's sponsored by Aquafina.
And
Aquafina
the DSU
water.
Circle is sponsored. This one.
DSU Circle, which brings up a great point, man. And for people, Meeshach, man, when I first met you, was basically like through the DSU Circle.
Yep.
And
We need them young alumni.
Them young alumni.
Mike Feeney.
Y'all remember that year? Me, Mike Feeney,
TZ. I don't want to say nobody's Instagram name. My homegirl, classified.
That's
red.
so funny. You know people by their Instagram.
By their
names.
Instagram, because when you see them, and that's how you look at them all the time, it's supposed to say their name, but that's how we met. You know what I'm saying? They was like, you need these young cats, these young alumni in the mix.
What year was that? The
Well, I had to be. It was the second year that we did homecoming, so you talking at least 12 years ago.
12, yeah. That was, matter of fact, that was right after I graduated. Yeah,
Yep.
a couple
Yeah,
years
I
after
was
graduate.
fresh out. Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Matter of fact, and tell the people what. First of all, like we said, he's a Hornet for life, and we definitely dive into the DSU Circle, and we definitely want to have this conversation. I know I wanted to have this conversation because I bleed red. That's what I tell people, and I know you bleed red, and we have some other people who bleed red, but it's about a support thing. First of all, what is the DSU Circle for people who don't know?
The DSU Circle is a network of alumni, people that graduated from Delaware State University, especially with the incorporation of social media. When I graduated in 98. Exactly. I graduated in 98. Next year be 20 years up out of college. You see your boy looking like this, though. You know what I mean?
You at the gym right now.
No, not even. It's just, yo, man, just living a better life, eating love and all that.
Right.
But hip-hop, you know what I'm saying, as much of the negative effects that it has kept us young. Because when I look at 40-year-old dudes, when I was a kid, they look like they had their AARP cards.
Easy.
And you looking at me, I'm 42 years old.
42, Meeshach?
42. I'll be 43 in another few months. But you know what I'm saying? And my friends too. You know what I'm saying? We not looking like we looking like we out here fresh and all that. You know what I mean? In terms of yeah. So but yeah, man, hip hop and all that. But in terms of, I graduated in 98, and once we graduated, it was kind of like there was no longer that cohesion. Like if you was still in touch with your peoples, then that was it. But there was no network. There was no place that we could go to hear about everything that was taking place in all of these alumni's lives. And that's when I reached out to the school, like, yo, homecoming is a good time because everybody comes back, but you really only cater to the students. And at the time, the Alumni Association was just, I'll call them seasoned alumni, but they a lot older than us. And they was there having,
it was experienced.
And they, homecoming parties was the four tops and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, come on, bro, we ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? First off, I started throwing homecomings when I was in school. So flashback 95, they opened up this place called Club Mingles. Shout out to my man Wade, shout out to Tony, shout out to Bobby. They opened up Mingles. That was the first black club in Dover, right? And I wasn't even 21. I was 20. And I was like, yo, I want to have my birthday party there. And I had my birthday party there. When I say it was crazy, so that just started the whole thing. Right? So going back to Del State, hollered at them like, look, there's a void. The level of entertainment that we're looking for, the level of fellowship that we're looking for, besides being on campus on Saturday during the day for the game, we're not getting that at any of the events. So let me come in, bring my network and the people that I know, and let's do this together. Right? And they was like, oh, that sounds good. That was the sound of the door slamming in my face. Like I wasn't hearing nothing. Hollered Alumni Association, same thing. I'm from a mindset. I have a mindset of, you don't really ask people too many times for something. I did out of respect because it was their school, everything. But once they was like, they wasn't feeling it, then, that's when we hollered at, started looking at venues.
Right.
And found a Duncan Center, and nobody knew about that then.
Nobody.
And then it just became something different. And then from homecoming, it just evolved from that one party to homecoming weekend, and then networking events, and then finally jumped on social media and Facebook. And that's where it just exploded into something bigger. because now you got thousands of alumni, not just my friends, right? Just alumni, period.
Right.
We share this common love for Delaware State University, and it was a way for everybody to just keep connected.
Right.
So I was just doing stuff like, if I hear something going on with somebody, I'll put it out there. And it just went from that to people was loving that. Like, okay, boom, boom, boom. Now, the one thing that I do say is I would have liked to see it evolve more in terms of alumni sharing other alumni stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that goes back to more so our community. You know that crab in the barrel mentality, and a lot of cats don't want to do it. But that was my whole thing. So when you look at that DSU Circle, like, yeah, you was younger, and this cat's way younger than you that know the Circle, but they know it as the brand. They don't know about no Meeshack or know anything. They just know you're the Circle, homecoming, Facebook, Instagram. They do things, whatever the case may be. So we currently, I will always have the Instagram page up for the Circle because I still have that love in terms of wanting to share everything that's going on with alumni and things that I feel is necessary that we need to know, things that affect us even with the current students and everything. And that DSU Circle has allowed me to get a connection with students, to the point where I'm knowing them coming out and, but I've, Del State, is currently in a transition phase. And I'm hoping that when the new leadership comes in, shout out to my man, President Dr. Harry L. Williams. I really, he's going to be sorely missed. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
I think he was very influential to the progression that we've seen. I just put out that joint yesterday, the area view of the campus.
I ain't been on social media.
But the thing is, it looks so different.
Yeah.
Like when I was on campus, we call it the Circle because the Circle was this epicenter of social activities at Del State. You didn't need to have a party in the student center. All we needed was the Circle and music.
Right.
And back then I had the Black Gulf with this mean system. I'd go out there. They'd be like, yo, Shach, bring it out. Go out there, lift it up, put the music on. We'd be out there all night. Doing what we doing, partying and all that. And it was just a great vibe. And that feeling is what I wanted to encompass when people looked at our network.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because let's face it, we at the point where, like I said, I'm in my 40s. My life is really filled about what's going on with my children and my wife and family and real life stuff. Right. You know what I'm saying? But when you get why do you think homecoming is so popular? People get to come back and see the people that they grew up with, you know what I'm saying, and still kind of hopefully not act too much like you was acting then, but you know what I mean?
Right.
Get that escape from reality.
Right.
So
even if it's just for a day or two.
Even if it's for a day or two. And we all need that in different, shapes or forms. So, like you said, I bleed red, you know what I'm saying? Just like I got love for my high school and the grammar school I went to, or anything that helped to shape me to be the man that I am.
Absolutely.
I'm not the type to be like, whatever. Yeah. Nah. I recognize that y'all played a major role. First off, I was at Del State when I transitioned from, young adolescent to adulthood.
Right.
So that's when you learn a lot of stuff. So how can I not just run away and be like, they trash? Nah.
Yeah, I tell people that all the time. From the simple fact, first of all, and granted, everybody's different.
Everybody's different.
And I will say forever, I have no resentment towards anything or regrets about anything that I might have done in class. I might have wanted to say get up and go to a couple more 8 o'clock classes, but as far as my experience, I had a blast. And some people are like, oh man, I wish I can go back to college. Like I would have did this, I would have had more fun. I don't say that because I'm like, I had a ball.
And for that, I share that same experience, and it's a big reason why I was able to get married at a young age. You know what I'm saying? So I got married at 25 years old.
Yeah, that's not me.
I got you, but that was me. I got married young, but the reason I was because, first of all, I was throwing parties from I was 20. I'm running around back in the days. MPV, New York plates. We in Norfolk. We all over the place. I lived that life at a young age. Right. So when I met my wife and all that and things started to transpire, it was easy for me to be like, you know what? I can still do this now. It was still a challenge, of course, but I was able to do it a lot easier. And somebody was like, I was just in college studying all the time and blah, blah, blah. First off, my second week at Del State, people found out who I was, the little chubby light-skinned dude, because I crashed a motorcycle on campus.
What?
Over by Tubman and whatever.
The towers.
And the towers.
Yeah.
Wasn't even my motorcycle. Rest in peace, Brian, dude from Jersey. He just pulled up with a brand new red 600 Katana. I was just out there chilling, shorts and a t-shirt. He pulls up, vroom, vroom. I'm like, yo, let me ride that. He like, all right, bet. I'm like, oh, snap. I ain't never been on a motorcycle in my life. I ain't put on no helmet or nothing. I jumped right out at 17. Like, oh, let me go. Zzz. Got to ride the tub in and see chicks and all that. I crashed into nothing. I tried to come through the parking lot and onto the road where people walk and just took it too low and not being experienced enough when it got too low. And I felt like it was hitting the ground. Instead of me just stopping,
give it a little more gas.
A little more gas. Hit that. That joint spun me in a circle and then went up in the air. I heard a chick say, ooh, she thought I was doing a trick. I was almost dead out there. So I said, if somebody will take me to the nurse's office, please. My leg about to fall off.
Yeah, you almost died like 50 times.
Yo, but you know what? So the name Meeshach is my real name. For those that don't know the Bible story, you know what I'm saying? Shadrach, Meeshach, and Abednego. Shout out to my cousin Shadrach. There was no Abednego. That was way too over the top. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? But Shadrach, Meeshach, and Abednego, you know, in the book of Daniel, the way that the story is told is King Nebuchadnezzar said that everybody has to worship a false god. And Shadrach, Meeshach, and Abednego was like, we not. And they got thrown into the fiery furnace, extra heat. And then when they looked in the furnace, instead of seeing 3 figures, they saw 4. And King Nebuchadnezzar said, bring them out the fire. They didn't die. Everybody around the fire died. Bring them out. They said, you know, King Nebuchadnezzar said, praise the God of Shadrach, Meeshach, and Abednego, because he saved them, you know? So I used to get teased about it, Radio Shack, Horse Shack. People used to call me Radio Shack when I was a kid as a snap. Oh, Radio Shack, Horse Shack from whatever that, Welcome Back Kotter, whatever with a shack in it, they Meeshack, whatever they thought of. So they was calling me that from then. But as my life progressed and I look back at it, you know, I was named by the Creator because at the end of the day, I've been in plenty of fires. Like I could sit there and tell you stories all day of fires I was in that I walked out unscathed. You know what I'm saying? Right. So this is just my journey.
I mean, talking about you went through a lot of fire and you went through a lot of hell. And even diving back to the DSU Circle. At the time, I didn't know it was new.
Brand new.
Brand new.
Second year homecoming.
It was like 2006?
Yeah, because we did. I didn't do it. This was the first year we haven't done it in 13 years.
13 years. Yeah, 2006. I had just graduated. I remember the first one was at Duncan Center. Everybody was there. I still got the pictures. It was the first time. Me, my brother, and my sister, we was all there. I mean, we still got the picture.
Shout out to Angel.
Shout out to Angel. Shout out to Clint. And it was just big. I remember.
Your mom's is hilarious. I didn't mean to cut you off. I met your mom's like a few years ago at Clint's, one of Clint's joints at his house.
At his barbecue?
Yo, she
crazy. You remember Pops?
Nah, that was just
that nigga crazy. my mom's crazy on a different level.
Yeah, but
Pops is
I
crazy
just loved
too.
it. We was sitting there chilling, talking.
Yeah, she crazy. It's so funny, man. She would some stuff she used to embarrass me. Like, you a kid. You be like, yo, Mom. Yeah. Now I love it. I be like, go ahead, do what you do, Mama. That I ain't freedom of expression.
Our first day at Delaware State, my mom's took off her shoes and walked barefoot
around campus,
over in the grass and all that.
True Jamaican.
True, because remember we coming from the Bronx. It's bricks.
Right.
She saw this green grass. She said she kicked her joints right off. I said, Mommy, come here.
She thought she was on a Huxtables.
Come on, man. Put your shoes
different
back
world.
on.
What's the show that had Different World, right?
Different World. Yeah, they went. You know, DSU Circle. Go back to all that.
Different World, right? Matter of fact, Different World, DSU Circle. I guess it was a different world of some things that you wanted to do. Yeah. Like you said, this was the first year that you didn't do anything involving homecoming. I remember people was hitting me around homecoming this year. Yo, what's going on for homecoming? What's going on for homecoming? And over, like you said, over 13 years, you guys have become the stable as far as like creating the atmosphere of events and stuff that's going on for homecoming. So when y'all didn't have anything, I think we had to talk one-on-one, and I completely understand that. I'm like, yo, Shaq, you got to. If they're not going to back you, and you're bringing so much value to it, and people don't know, like he had a date. You started a day party like 3 years ago.
5.
The day party was 5 years ago.
Yeah, because we ended up, and the way the day party started,
best thing. Oh my, it's the best. People look forward to the day party.
Day party, just for those that don't know, outside on campus, the Saturday of homecoming. Free food, and I'm talking real food. Real food. It wasn't no hot dogs,
no chips, no cookies.
Take this and go. Right. Real food. You know what I'm saying? All you can eat, open bar, whatever that consists of, like everything. Right. And no matter what forget HBCU. You could go to any major college, homecoming or anything else. They're not going to provide that for that many people without a cost. And we did it for free to the point where the last year that we did it, we had 1,500 people out there.
I remember.
You know what I'm saying? And
a proposal.
And
the wedding proposal.
Wedding proposal was dope.
We got that on camera.
They got married yet?
No, they didn't get married yet.
Okay.
Shout out to Ty. Shout out to
everybody got their own path, right? But that was dope. You know what I'm saying? That proposal. But it's like at the end of the day, man, to put something that major together and people would look at it and be like, yo, DSU Circle, nah, they got it. It's good. You know what I'm saying? They could pay for it. Nah, really, the DSU Circle is just me and my man SWAT. And you know, shout out to my man SWAT. You know what I'm saying? Jamal Hassan, a.k.a. Luke Cage. Shout out to him.
Shout out to SWAT.
You know what I'm saying?
He literally works for SWAT.
He literally like is one of them dudes. Like when he be coming out with his vest and his badge, I'm like, I ain't going to lunch with you like this, man. Luke Cage, go put on your car. Put on your hoodie. Oh no, brother, you know him.
Right.
So it was him and my man Trippy. You know what I'm saying? Trippy Congo, who we was at Del State together. He's one. I love Trip. You know what I'm saying? But I hollered at him like, Trip, we got to do something different for homecoming. Yeah. So we did the day party, right? We was doing, what actually happened was we did the day party one year. And we was like, damn, this many people showed up. And then we wasn't even calling it a day party at the time. And then the next year is when we had that blizzard at homecoming. And it was crazy. And
rainstorm.
No, it was sleet. It was snow. It was all that. It was bad. Yeah. That was when they had it like towards the end of October, and it was bad. And I was very upset because I'm like, damn, we had at this point we was doing stuff like we was buying all the food from whatever the Redners and all that. Right. I had to call Redners like I called them early that morning like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, we're not gonna need all that chicken. My grandmother died. If they would have said, when did your grandmother die? I'd have said 10 years ago. So I was upset. Like, damn, man, we lost a lot of money. Right. And it's crazy because what happened was people started hitting me up. Like, I was just chilling. Yo, you got to do something. You got to do something. Like, I don't got to do nothing. People figure it out. Right. They was like, man, people's just walking around in Dover Downs with nothing to do. And then we hollered at whatever that club was, Lock 'em in Exchange, because we did the party that night. And I was like, yo, what y'all doing right now? Is it clean? Yo, clean it up. I could pack the place out in an hour. We won't charge nobody to come. And I just put something out there, rainy day party.
I remember.
Lock 'em in Exchange, show up. And that was probably, a lot of people come back to me to this day and was like, yo, that was one of the best homecoming experiences. Because it was real. Like, nobody was dressed up and all that. You didn't know. It was impromptu. It was raining. Chicks wasn't coming out, and everybody came in. I was on the stage sweating. You was recording.
I was
on the stage sweating and da-da, and it was just that vibe was crazy. And after that, that's when we actually named it a day party. Right. And we was doing it ever since.
I remember because I was like, I thought that was the first one I went to. Because I was like, yo, we talked about it. I was like, I said, that joint was jumping. I said it was better than any party. Because I think people were still having some black parties and stuff like that. You know,
and we always. The one thing is, for the record, for anybody that's listening, we've never, ever been like, we don't want anybody to do their events. Right. Because we don't look at it as competition. First off, it's hard to cater to such a broad range of people. Yeah. You know, so it's like, we can't do a nighttime party that's going to encompass everybody. So that's when we first did, when they opened up the new student center, we was like, that's perfect. Right. You know what I'm saying? You got all these multiple rooms. We got something for everybody. We bringing Funk Flex. We done brought DJ Envy, everybody. But yet we still had the season alumni up there, you know what I'm saying, doing the whatever they doing. Right. And it just worked out. Unfortunately, Del State was like, this is way too popping. You know, this is way too popping. We need this and we need that. And it just became too much of a burden financially and everywhere else to continue. And we did those 2 years. And it was just over for that, you know what I'm saying? And we had to find other ways. But slowly but surely, it made me just pull away from it. But the one thing that I was always like, because I had people that was like, yo, well, why don't you just do parties and not do the day party? And I said, that's impossible. The whole purpose of the day party is to let alumni know how much we care for them. Yeah. That's why when other entities was like, oh, just charge. And we was like, no. Like, they was charging us to use that piece of land. I don't care. I don't have to sugarcoat it. We was paying $400 just to use the land. Are you kidding me?
That's benefiting them because they were.
Till they finally got hip to it and was like, okay, let's be a part of it. We'll waive that fee. We'll take care, a little here. Right. But then we need to have our tent out there, our table. We need to be doing this. And I'm all for that.
Right.
Never had an issue with that. Going back to the other independent alumni groups that was doing stuff, never had an issue with them too in terms of, we don't want y'all doing it. Because, cater to your group. Right. If we doing something that you don't like, then do your own thing. I can't get mad at that because that's how we started.
Right.
The Alumni Association, the school was doing stuff we ain't like.
Right.
So we did our own thing.
Right.
But it's a lot easier. A lot of those groups came and went, you know what I'm saying? Because once you get into it, the politics of Dover, Delaware, and trying to do this and the third, it sounds good when you put it in your head, but when you start to talk to these people and try to get with the school and all that, it's a lot.
And then you start realizing, who about the entities around, like you said, the venues that really don't want Del State.
No. Well, none do.
None do.
Including the Duncan Center.
What happened there? We're going to talk about that. We're going to take another break, but we're going to talk about the Duncan Center and why they throwing shade. All right? Back.
No doubt. Almost 100% except the fact that now Bubba's is minority owned, but the venues that was available to us to use for homecoming was, white owned.
Right.
And at the end of the day, for whatever reason, the city of Dover, those businesses don't look at Delaware State University like they look at a UD.
Right.
When you are up in that area for their homecoming or anything they have going on, you'll see all the local businesses with UD posters and come in here and get the student ID, get you this discount. Grotto's was right across the street, and I went in there with a couple of the people from Institutional Advancement to have lunch to talk, and I was telling them, like, yo, the reason why we even come to y'all to use your venues on campus is because outside of campus, they not messing with us.
Right.
They was like, oh, we don't believe that, whatever. We go to pay the bill. They got the little card with UD's football schedule on it. This is in Dover, Delaware, directly across the street from Delaware State University. Right. There's nothing in here that says Delaware State University.
Right, I said. Right.
And that was just the vibe of the businesses around. So, I never want to throw slander on nobody. The owners of the Duncan Center, proprietors, whoever was running it, they gave us the opportunity to do it right at the time. But it was at a very high cost.
Right.
Very high. And, I heard things like, we really don't want to do this. But, it's hard to turn down that level of money.
Right.
You understand? And we went through our challenges, but to have there was times when we was putting 900 people in there. I hope the statute of limitations is up on that because the fire marshal done that, but we was putting 900 up in there to the point where it's outside. And you got to remember, people's outside the patios, and at that time, you wasn't going to homecoming parties where you could go buy bottles and all that and pop off. It was just a different experience.
I remember, man. It was
you know what I'm saying?
classic.
So I'm glad that we was able to play a part of that. You know what I mean?
So what was that conversation when y'all was like, nah, we're not doing the Duncan Center? Was it like y'all hiking these costs up, y'all trying to dick us, and we just like, nah, we ain't
all right, a couple things, and I have no problem once again saying it because truth is the truth.
Right.
Once you do business with, and of course after the first year we did the Duncan Center, I told them, listen, you're gonna get bombarded with calls. Like they're not gonna wait till next homecoming. They're gonna start calling you next week.
Right.
Talking about, oh, can we rent this? Can we do this? Can we do this? Right. So they saw the money potential, but of course they want to deal with people where they could get their money, but still know that their interests will be taken care of. We're not gonna tear their place down. All right. The rule of business, the more business you do, there should be more of a mutual a reciprocity. So we was doing it, spending all this money. Say we spending, just say $5 to rent the place, right? Do it for 3 years at $5 or 2 years. I go like, yo, we got to work something out. Right. Y'all making all this bread. We flooding the place. Y'all selling bottles. Y'all doing all of this, doing all that. Let's work it out. At least let me pay $4.
Right.
All right, you know what? Y'all could pay $4.50. All right, whatever, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We'll run with it. But then you come back the next year and like, yeah, y'all going to pay $5. Why?
Or $6.
Or $6. And the thing is, it was hard to, we was always thinking about alumni, right? Because
if it was up to y'all would be like, man,
when the overhead is that high, it's hard to make a serious profit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you have to adjust. You're either going to have to charge people a ridiculous price. So when people say, $30 for a homecoming party, it's not because we want to walk away from homecoming and buy a Panamera. That's not it. It's because the cost that we have to incur. And then once the day party came into play, in order for us to make that all the way free, we got to make, I'm a 9-to-5 dude. I'm in corporate America.
Right.
Currently.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Currently.
right.
But, you know, I'm not out here. I need to feed my family and all that. It's not just about me feeding a 1,500 alumni.
Right.
So, like you said, you're a business-minded dude. You know, you taking over the world and all that. So it's like you see it from the inside. And you and I caught that vibe from you like you was just a good dude from back then.
And man, you talked about it. We talked about a lot of things about how you're supportive and you're putting people out there. And like you said, you're throwing events and people come to you by the DSU Circle. What is events? What's going on? You've been putting on for so long. But we had a conversation about other people not supporting.
Reciprocity.
Right. Not supporting. How do you really feel about that? Like
that's a hard situation, right? Because going back to what I said earlier, the DSU Circle was a brand, right? It was bigger than Meeshack, right? But at the end of the day, this ain't no major corporation. I don't got interns running around and doing my social media pages. It's me.
Yeah.
So it's hard when I go and I put out throughout the year hundreds of posts about people graduating or this, or this person's a principal now, or this person's business, or they was on Good Morning America and doing all this stuff. And then when it's time and we put our stuff back out and we don't even get a share.
Right.
Like, that just threw me for a loop because I'm like, how much more can we do? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And once again, that issue isn't isolated to just the DSU Circle or isolated to just Del State. It's our community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you got people that was looking at it like, and I'm sure because, you know, cats ain't know our link, but I'm sure cats was hounding you like, yo, they out here getting this bread homecoming. Like, we gonna do this. We could get that. We don't need this, whatever. Not knowing that it wasn't even really about that for us.
I totally agree. It's like I tell people, when you get into it, it's not about the money. I mean, like, it can come as you go in with the love and all that stuff. I mean, the money just is, if you make a couple of dollars, cool.
That's a bonus.
But
if homecoming was popping, everybody came, had a good time, went home safe and all that, and was there sharing all their pictures and talking about it, free day party and all that. Cats was going back and, when I realized it was bigger than what we thought it was going to be was when we started doing tickets and cats was coming and buying tickets, and we like, oh, yeah, you know what I'm saying? What year you graduated from Del State? Nah, I ain't go to Del State. We just heard it is popping for homecoming.
The day party
we all coming.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's when I realized it was like that. But no, that has been, you know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, I'm light-skinned, so, you know, I'm already a sensitive dude and all that Pisces. I be in my feelings. So definitely it was things like that, like when you look at, and then, you know, there was more blatant stuff. It's one thing to not reciprocate and share or whatever, but when you throwing slander out, you know what I'm saying, and talking about, they just doing this, they just trying to get money and da-da-da, we could.
Who's doing it, Meeshach?
A lot of people. You know what I'm saying? From older cats to, you know, whoever. But, you know, the younger cats, y'all move the way y'all move. Like, yo, F them dudes. Let's go do our own thing, and we'll just whatever. Whereas the older cats, they got to talk about it. And social media is a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
So I just be scrolling through it and come past like, I'm sick of these promoters making money off of us at homecoming. We need to boycott. I said, hold on. We the only promoters. They got to be talking about us.
Yeah. Then hold on, something happened one time.
It's been a few times.
I think it was one, not this year, this past. Or was it this year? Oh, Shach, you gotta remind me.
I tell you one of the things that made me,
you was pissed.
One of the things that made me stop Facebook, dead the DSU Circle page, outside of like the whole the agreements with Del State not working out the way that we wanted it to and things like that. Shout out to the DSU Alumni Association.
Yeah, Mama Davis.
The principal, the president, Sheila Davis, like they've always believed in the vision. Back when I thought that the way for me to break in and do all this was to join the Alumni Association. So I was actually the national vice president of the Alumni Association for 2 years. But even then, in that situation, the seasoned alumni, I would come in with these great ideas. They're like, nah, we ain't doing that. You gonna be serving cornbread? What? Like, we here to party. What are you talking about? So that was out of it. But it's one thing when you don't support or whatever, but like I said, the slander. And one of the things made me get off Facebook, I'm gonna say it right now. Somebody that I thought that I was cool with, You know what I'm saying? Threw out this post about me, like
now
picture and all that, talking about, yo, what's wrong with light skin? He blocked me on Instagram. Like, I would sit here right now and say I probably did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that was years ago. Like, I'm not the type of person where if I got an issue with you, you don't know it because I'm gonna see you and be fake.
Right.
So the person that did it, every time I saw them, I gave them love. You know what I'm saying? So for that to come about, and then that wasn't only it because, you know, we could have a misunderstanding, but when I saw the people out there commenting on it and talking about me and all that in a negative manner, of course some people came back and was like, nah, what y'all talking about, whatever. You talking about the boycott. I mean, the years before that, they tried to, remember?
I ain't gonna say those days, but
yeah, they tried to start a boycott, signing, we not doing this. This ain't up to our standards.
I remember.
You had fun at the day party though, because Blake took our picture.
I remember. I did start. I was like, "Hey, come on!" People. I said, "Come take it," because I think y'all might have talked about it after that.
We talked about it because with me, it's always just about communicating and talking about something, man. It ain't never that deep. You know what I'm saying? Even
what was the boycott over?
Because we were gonna do, because it was the first year it said we was gonna use Bubba's. Oh. So just so for the people that don't know, we had homecoming lined up from the year before. We was gonna use, this was back when they was letting us use. They had just we had done the Sheraton. You know, they tried to dead us on the new student center, so we moved to the Sheraton. Then they went and bought the Sheraton. Right. We was in meetings all the way up until 2 weeks before homecoming. And then they threw out all these regulations or stipulations, the stuff that we specifically said, like, yo, the party got to go to 2. You can't shut down the bar to 1. Like, you got to turn the lights off in the place. Stuff that is conducive to entertainment.
The environment.
And then they came 2 weeks later like, nah, we ain't doing that. And put our backs against the wall because for the most part, you're going to be like, they're not going to find an alternative. So they're going to be stuck and they're going to have to do it unless... If not, they're going to lose whatever money they've put out. We lucked up and Bubba's called me. Like, yo, let's work, whatever, put 2 and 2 together. And cats tried to boycott us. Oh, man, how could you take us to Bubba's? That's not up to our standards, whatever. Right. Like, all right, so the other option is then don't have nothing.
The funny thing about that, man, is like, yo, we putting this on for y'all. We ain't got to do this. I got a family. Speaking of you, I got a family. We got like real problems,
did
real
you ever
bills.
see me at homecoming partying?
Never.
Dressed up, chilling, drinking, having fun like everybody else. I'm always running around like the light-skinned Django out there. You know what I'm saying? Mad sweaty with a sweatsuit on like, oh, what you need? You need chicken?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not, so why would you get at me about it?
Right.
If anything, you should just ask, yo, what's going on? Why is this? And I would say it.
Right.
Like, yo, because they tried to dead us and we need to move. But they did that. And once again, shout out to my man, rest in peace to Mike Feeney.
Shout out to, yeah.
Because when everybody was on there talking reckless about the circle and all that, my man Mike Feeney got on there and was like, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. If it wasn't for Shach and SWAT and the circle and all that they doing, we wouldn't even be having these homecomings.
Wouldn't even be having them.
So fall back or go do your own damn thing. And that's why I always respected my man, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Right. So rest in peace to Fiends and all that. But once again, all it took was a conversation. You could always come talk to me. Anybody ever went to Delaware State, if you had problems with me from back then, yo, come holler at me. That, like I said, I graduated almost 20 years ago.
Right.
There's no way we have issues. I've been married 17 years. I'm not knocking off nobody's shorties or girls. Like, there's no problems out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's all love. I'm just here trying to feed my family and help out people whenever we can.
That's what we're talking about, man.
Really quick, do got to say something. Monday coming up. Well, I don't know when this is going to air, but December 18th, probably whatever. But December 18th, we are doing, you know, the company I work for right now is called Camores. We are doing Community Day. December 18th, you know, we getting together, we making lunches, making sandwiches. We're going to go out to the community, Wilmington Empowerment Center. We're going to go to Rodney Square, hand out food, give people lunches. You know what I'm saying? It's not about homeless people. It's about if you're hungry, less fortunate. You know what I'm saying? So definitely got a shout out to everybody that believed in my vision with that. And hopefully we'll make that bigger and better next year. But that's what it's all about with me, man. Like, even with the money and me, I'm about to leave corporate America. Only reason I've been in corporate America all this time is because it's been my, you know what I'm saying, my safety net. When you got kids and all that, you can't just jump out the window.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I've been blessed with a good situation and all that, where, you know, recessions and none of that ain't affect us. Right. We still good out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? But it's time. You know what I'm saying? It's time to make that move. Seeing my brothers, younger brothers, older brothers, you know, doing what y'all need to be doing. Like, that's definitely inspired me too, to be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? We got to do it. And at the end of the day, going back to the reciprocity thing, even if you look at Delaware, take Del State out the equation. If everybody really, like, so when I had the radio show for a year, I would try to put anybody on that was trying to do something to be positive. I don't care if you had your own radio show. Who cares?
Right.
Come through.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, my network of the people that's listening to you, I can introduce you to them, and then that can increase your brand awareness. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that we need more of that out here.
And that's a whole nother conversation. I know you really got to go soon. So I mean, this podcast is about how to take over your world and the failures along the way, and we learn a lot about you today and those failures along the way. Like you said, the one thing that you're really proud of is being a father, right? And then, we have those real intricate, I don't know if even that's the right word, conversations where we talk about the future and wealth and changing the history and creating a future for our kids. You know what I mean? For our children out here in the futures. Jay-Z just came in. You're a hip hop guy, and we didn't get to dive into hip hop and the culture that is playing.
Because I'm torn right now.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And I was going to ask you a question. Like you said, you're a family man. How do you feel really quick about how hip hop has the influence on the youth today as far as like doing drugs, smoking marijuana, being like, in hip hop we always dove into those hood stories, but it seems like now
there's a transition.
Yeah.
It shifted from being cool to be a drug dealer to cool to be a drug user. I battle with it, especially with 3 kids, because at this point hip hop is probably more detrimental to the urban community than racism or anything else. Because if you're somewhere and some non-black person walks up to you, right, and they call you a nigger, right, which is, I'm gonna get away from that too, and they call you a nigger, right, like, you see that person as a threat. So anything else they say after that, or if they got on a rebel flag or whatever, anything else they say after that, you're gonna be defensive and keep them away from you. Whereas hip hop is positioned as these young kids trust it. You understand? So they don't have their guards up, and all this is just filtering in their head. Now, I got one of my men who is like, yo, he sent me some YouTube videos today. Like, we got to save our kids and all that. I'm not to the extreme point where I'm like, y'all can't listen to hip hop in the house, because the things that they talk about in hip hop, which is ultimately still a form of entertainment, is things that's happening in the real world. And I'm not trying to hide them. What I'm trying to do is guide them. So if I was just letting them listen to certain stuff without being knowledgeable of it myself, then that would be bad, because we wouldn't be talking about it. Like, I'm always in my kids' ears. Like, yo, this is cool. We could dance to it and all that, but no.
What are they saying? What are they telling you? What's the story behind it? Like,
exactly. Yeah. And so it might sound catchy, but no. We not going to F them and then get some money. Cardi B, and I love Cardi B. Shout out to Cardi B and the X. Like, I done seen a million Cardi B's on Fordham Road in the Bronx, so I'm glad that she's making the impact she's making. But that's not what I want my daughters to teach them. Right. So it's like YouTube, social media, the radio. First off, in my day, you would turn on the radio so you wouldn't hear this stuff. So it was actually coined radio friendly. There is no radio friendly. I'm a big fan of the Breakfast Club. I want to listen to them every morning. But when I have it on in my bathroom and my kids come in, I got to turn it off. Yeah. Because I can't hear Charlamagne talking about eating ass, you know what I'm saying, or any of the other stuff that's inappropriate for them to listen to. You know what I'm saying? And you would think, like, to have something like that back in the day, it would be on at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? Right. Things have just changed. So it's something that I struggle with. I just asked Swat, yo, you think you could give up hip hop? I texted him today, and he was like, nope. Now Swat thinks he is 20-something years old. Don't let her fool you. You know what I'm saying? Right. So he's into all that, and whatever the case may be. But no, I do try to balance everything in my life. Mm-hmm. So I haven't gotten to the point where I've thought about it. Like, I'm not gonna let you listen to this. What I have done now, if you're in my car and my 8-year-old is in the car, my 8-year-old is in the car, we not listening to, like, so on XM, the clean station would be like the Heat.
That's the clean station.
Because they don't curse.
Right.
But nah, it's not even about the language. It's about the content.
Yeah, they can fill in the blanks.
And the way they edit songs now, you know what I'm saying? It's not like you can't picture what the word is saying. So I catch myself listening to a lot more CNN in the concept like that. But now my daughter Marley, she wants to listen to the joint. You know what I'm saying? At first I was like, why? You know what I'm saying? Right. But no, it's just reggae music and all that. And if that's what she gonna vibe out to, then that's what's up. But it's definitely a struggle.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, even like hip hop, I love hip hop, like true hip hop. I think who was it? Carmichael Show, the guy who does that. He said, "Listen, if the music doesn't challenge me to think, then I'm not gonna listen to it." And that's why my favorite hip hop artist is J. Cole and the Kendricks. And Big Sean is one of my he's coming. I tell people all the time, Big Sean is coming. I always like Big Sean from the gate, but as far as lyrics, as far as positivity,
he is super tough.
He is coming.
But he's going to change that corner, too.
Yeah.
To really go to more towards the J. Cole's and all that.
Oh, yeah.
When he does, he's going to...
I don't know if you've been listening to him. But he's like...
I need to listen to
You got to listen to Big... Especially he's got Metro Boomin. His last album, and he says some things on there. I'm telling you, Big Sean...
Okay.
I give him number 3. I give him number 3. Like, of the new school hip-hop, like... best rappers, I go, even though J. Cole's my favorite, I say Kendrick might be number 1. They might be interchangeable. I like J. Cole's my favorite.
Yeah. And
then I go Big Sean number 3.
Well, you got to remember J. Cole produces too.
Yeah, and he produces.
So I think Kendrick's commercial success would put him at that kind of, but J. Cole, my son that's like his favorite artist.
Yeah, my favorite, man.
Yeah,
I mean, his more thing, like, he talked, like he said, where we going? He said, little whatever, standing next to. I'm telling you, listen to Cole. Okay. My brother, I told Quentin the same thing.
Cole all the time, man. And Cole's an educated brother.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Graduated summa cum laude from St. John's University and all that. That ain't easy.
That ain't easy. Shout out to J. Cole if you watching this podcast.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if you are.
Shoot a T-shirt or something. Cole World.
Cole.
Send my man a CD or something.
Yo, put Blake the Brain in one of your lyrics. I swear to you.
Yeah, that's it. Put Blake the Brain. You know what I mean?
Yo, put it in there.
Yeah.
I promise you, I play it for life.
For sure.
But I mean, hip hop is changing. The culture is changing. You got your daughter.
Got my daughter.
The youngest daughter.
I have 2.
You got 2. Matter of fact, you got 2. And one's in high school.
One's in high school. She's a freshman at Smyrna. And Malia. Giving me major attitude right there.
Major attitude. Like always.
I love you, baby girl. Trust me, I love you. Daddy got to be hard on you sometimes. It's only because I want you to be the most independent, strong woman that you could be out there in this world. That's it.
Now they're gonna look at this podcast now.
Hopefully.
So
they way too cool for all that.
Let it go this to it.
My daughter, the youngest one, would be like, "When am I coming on?"
We gotta get her on the show.
Yeah, that's her thing. She will come on here and light it up.
We gotta get her on the show because she's so much natural, personality. Yeah. She has it.
She was doing.
Have you ever had that talk with your daughters yet about the bullying, or even like if things get bad, just come talk to us. You ain't got to take things to that level. I don't know if you guys ever had that conversation. So
we have to.
Got to.
In today's era, if you love your children, you have to have that conversation.
And I'm asking my niece I said, "You okay in school? Is anybody bullying you?" She's like, "No, nobody." No. I said, "You sure? You could tell me."
And I had to evolve.
Yeah.
Because early on it was like that BX would come out. So what happened at school? I'm going there tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm running up in there tomorrow. I don't care who's what.
And if y'all know, Shaq is about it.
My kids school know me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, there's always a balance. So when they needed to go back to get their charter, they asked me to come speak on their behalf. You know what I'm saying? Because so if we're going to talk about bullying, I'll just give you a quick example. My son was a victim of bullying his 8th grade, right? Excuse me. And the kid that was bullying was bigger than me, literally, in the 8th grade. And my son was scared, and he didn't want to come to me and be like, "Yo, Pops, this is what's happening." And he took a weapon to school and got caught being a kid and all that. how they act about that, weapons in school. He got charged with 2 felonies. When I sat down,
He took the burner?
Nah, he took it. He ain't had access to the burner. He brought a blade to school, whatever. But of course, they're gonna hit you with the deadly weapon and possession of deadly weapon on school grounds. I requested a meeting with the school board and the representative from the district attorney's office and the police representative for the school. And when I sat down there and talked to them, me and my wife, and explained to them that this isn't, I know that y'all watch TV and videos and all that. This isn't that stereotype.
Right.
This isn't the young black kid lost that was going to hurt somebody. You know what I'm saying? This was the same kid you sent to the state spelling bee.
Right.
Same kid that's been playing sports for you, 3 sports all these years. The same kid that was going to St. Andrews.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So let's not mess up his future as a result of bullying. We all make mistakes, right? Let's talk about what led up to this. He was scared. Now, the learning lesson, come to us first. So that's been what I've been preaching to my daughters. Come to us first. I've learned to tone myself down so that my daughters will come to me first, as opposed to if I tell daddy, he's going to flip.
Right.
You understand? Right. And it's a constant thing, but when you look at these kids hurting themselves, I mean, that's a whole different dynamic. We didn't grow up in that age where bullying would cause somebody to actually take their own life. But as a parent, I can't even imagine or wouldn't want to imagine what it'd be to bury a child, because I would feel like I failed them. Even if it was out of your power, you didn't know nothing about it, you'd be like, I didn't protect my child.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we're here on this planet, if you're a parent. You know what I'm saying? So when I see this heartbreaking, but we talk about it all the time. That's the key, once again, communication. I'm always in my kids' ear, even when they be like, okay. You're going to hear what I got to say.
Right.
You know? And it's not going to register now, but you're going to be in that situation, and you're going to be faced with a decision, and you're about to speak, and you're going to hear daddy in the back of your head. Nah, B, don't do that.
Right.
Go ahead and make this move, and then call me.
Right. Then call me.
And that's when it's going to show up.
That's most definitely. Listen, man, we can talk about so many things, dive into the family aspect. But we get to the end of the show. We've been talking for like 2 hours. Probably gonna edit this thing down.
Yeah.
I don't even know what we should take out because everything's so good. I mean, this is
I
like
appreciate
a
it,
true.
man. It's organic.
Last couple things. Tell me the first thing that comes to mind. All right, you ready?
I'm
This
ready.
is a little call and response. All right. So tell me, we talk, like you said, you've been through a lot of things in your life. Tell me what was your greatest failure.
My greatest failure.
Was you
I
failed?
don't know, because I'm still failing, because I didn't get to it. It's failures and goals, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt.
So-
Shout out to the plug.
I don't think, shout out to the plug, you know what I'm
For the
saying?
shirt
I
that's
need
over
that
there, don't
shirt.
worry
I need to get that shirt. But I hope I haven't had my biggest failure yet, because I haven't reached my biggest goal. You know, so up until this point, man, I've had some failures. I definitely think that going into corporate America at an early age, as opposed to just jumping out the window, was probably one of my biggest failures, because I feel that I am capable of making money off of my talents and brain. You know what I'm saying? But that's probably it right now. But like I said, I got more. It ain't over for me, God willing.
Right, and that's what we talked about that too. Talk about bringing an idea to you. We talk about some things. You know what I mean? Like jumping out the window. That's a whole other thing. Next thing, what's your greatest accomplishment?
My babies, my children, and not even that. To say that I've been married to my wife for 17 years. Like I said, I got married at 25 years old. So to be able to say that we still doing it out here, and I love her more than I love her back that day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just.
So don't take it the wrong way, guys. They are still doing it, but not doing it.
Yeah.
They
He
are-
does that. So, but yeah, man, I mean, I love her. So that's a huge accomplishment to say that I'm still doing that, especially in Delaware, because it's small. There's only one Meeshack. There's all types of things that could have went wrong.
All type of things.
Yeah.
All right, last thing. What does taking over your world mean to you?
Taking over my world means to be successful to the point where I don't have to answer to anyone, and successful to the point where I'm able to not only provide for my family, but to provide to my community. Not just financially, but through knowledge and spirits and everything else. If I could take over my world and I'll be good out here in these streets, but I'll be able to touch other people's lives. That's what we're here for. Our number one thing on this planet is to love one another and reproduce. You know what I'm saying? That's why we're here. So if we could do that, and while we're doing that, help the less fortunate and feed the hungry and protect the weak. If I could do that, man, then I'm going to have my world all the way took over.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Meeshach, Stennett, Radio Shach, all type of Shachs. Appreciate you coming through.
Yo, I love you, Blake.
Man, I love you too, brother. You know,
For
we got
real,
got a T-shirt for you, Taking on the World T-shirt.
My man.
Right here.
What size is this?
Hold on, let me see. Let me make sure.
What size is that?
Hold on, brother. I know you losing weight now.
You know what I'm saying?
I know
Don't
you in
try
the
to
gym.
play
Hold
me.
on. This ain't a 2X, it's an XL.
Oh, yeah, let me
You
get
can fit
that.
that right
I'm going to
there.
rock
You
that
can fit
out.
that?
Yeah, I can fit that
Hey,
all the
man.
way. I'll take a picture, put it on.
Hey,
I thought you
man,
was going to
yo, you're taking on the world. We appreciate you coming onto the
You already
podcast.
know, brother. And we are taking over the world. So like I said, man, please support my man Blake. You know what I'm saying? With the podcast, with Front Street Video, with everything. If you see this brother out here, from day one, his energy has always been the same, just positivity and love, man. So make sure y'all return to my man Blake.
Yo, make sure you return it. It's the light-skinned bandit. He's out here.
It's my man, the Black Superman. You're going to see him in the next Justice League. Trust me.
We out here taking over the world. Chip. My man.